Hello everyone, and welcome back to Backlot Banter. My name is Hazell. Today, I'm joined by my galaxy-spanning co-host, Tanner Dykstra. We call him Mr. Wide, Mr. Galaxy Wide. It's bigger than Mr. Worldwide, Tanner.
Oh, I see. Okay, I get
you're
you.
large. You're large.
Large and in charge, Tucker.
Yes, just like Mario, who is
Huh?
exploring the galaxy in this latest film from Illumination Pictures. Tanner, we're here to review the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you everyone for
course.
watching. Tanner,
See you next time.
the floodgates be opened. What do you think of Super Mario Galaxy?
Tucker, in the immortal words of one Mr. Mario, as voiced by Chris Pratt in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it's trash.
It's trash. Oh,
It's
that's
trash.
Tanner. You need if you could upload GIFs to Letterboxd, that should be your review.
Yeah, well, because everyone uses the everyone like to use the pure cinema thing from the first movie, and they've given us the inverse here. But no, Tucker, what do you want from me? This movie fucking sucks. It's not good. It's more of the same from the Mario films from our friends over at Illumination. It falls into the exact same traps that the first one did, in that there are, there is no plot progression. There is no math being done in the story of this character does this, and so this must happen, and so this happens, and so this happens. Our characters don't make choices. What the fuck does Mario do? It's all just pointing and recognizing things from Mario games, and now we're expanding that realm. So now we can point and recognize things from other Nintendo properties. And it truly is a little bit eye-opening to just think back and and just try and track the scenes that happen in this movie. Each of them feel utterly disconnected from the one that preceded it and the one that followed.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I think what you said is true, but I think this movie's goal is very different. And I think maybe because I'd already seen the first movie, the two movies, pacing-wise, script-wise, character-wise, are pretty similar. They're on a similar wavelength. And I remember being a little bit off-put by that first movie. I thought it was fine enough, but a little bit underwhelmed by it. But I think now that I have had that experience as I did 3 years ago, and now watching another one, I knew what to expect, and I think I was able to appreciate the movie more on its own level, because I do think that there's a number of ways that this is, for the kind of thing that the Illumination Mario movies are going for, a stronger film. I think that the visual creativity is stepped up a notch. I think that a lot of the humor is less annoying than it was in the first one. Not having all these really obvious needle drops that was so obnoxious in the first movie.
Sure,
this one totally
there's less of that.
I think it feels more internally coherent because it's not... a big problem I have with the first one is you get a 20-minute segment at the beginning where they're just in New York bopping around, and it's a human world, and then they get sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom, and I'm like, this is some isekai bullshit. I always find that really annoying. It's just oh, what the heck? This is a mushroom man. That's crazy. We're past that now. And so I think this movie feels more internally confident in the world that it is created and that the characters exist in. And so then we can just kind of spend time visiting creative locations, more creative locations than we did in the first movie. And not by a huge margin, but having the characters know each other a little bit better and having a little bit more progression with one another is a slight step up. And so I actually think there's a number of ways that the Super Mario Galaxy movie is a step up from that first one. And so I think that kind of being slightly pleasantly surprised by these elements where I'm like, okay, they did, in my opinion, they did learn some lessons from the Super Mario Bros. Movie to the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Sure, I think the lessons that they learned were people like when they can recognize things from the Mario games, and so just do that the entire time.
Yeah.
And Tucker, you say creativity, and Tucker, I have played all the way through one Mario game in my entire life, and that is Super Mario Brothers Odyssey, or Super Mario Odyssey, excuse me.
Good job. I was close. I'll give you a pass.
Thank you. Which honestly, if you're going to learn if you're going to take any Mario game and apply it to the things that you see on screen in one of the Mario movies, or in this movie specifically, it ironically is not Super Mario Galaxy, the video game. It is
Yeah.
probably more aptly Super Mario Odyssey is the game
Sure.
that you want to play if you want to recognize iconography here. And there are still a great many things that passed me by, that went over my head.
Yeah.
Tucker, I am waiting with bated breath for you to explain to me who are the guys that we continue to see over and over again that look a lot like Knack.
What?
The guys that look like the little wood guys. They have they have Knack faces.
They're just little wood guys. They don't look like Knack. You're an idiot. But I know
No,
what
they
you're
look
talking
like
about.
Knack.
Yeah, they've got like a little leaf hanging off their head. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like their face is like a wedge of wood or whatever.
Yes. I don't think that looks like Knack, but yeah, I don't know. They're just like little back. It's actually funny. There's like one level in Galaxy where there's like these creepy little guys like off in the distance. If you like break the skybox and you look up, I don't know. I think it's those guys. But
Okay.
but yeah, they're just little side characters. It doesn't really matter.
Anyway, I whenever I saw one of those guys, I was like, "Holy shit, that looks like Knack." I thought that was Knack for a split second, because
now, that
of course
would have been something to
yeah.
really
Oh,
gasp in the
we
theater.
really would have been crossing the streams of games universes there, which we do in this movie, of course, and I think we should talk about that in due time.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like the main motivation of these is to basically put vibrant, fast-moving action in front of 10-year-old eyes, and for fans of the Mario games, no matter really how deep into it you are, is to every 10 to 15 minutes put you in a location, give you a character on screen that like, oh, that guy, that thing, exactly. That is the main motivation of these movies, and that I suppose has progressed in that it is just more purified in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, but it adds nothing for me cinematically or filmically, obviously.
Well, again, this is where it's like we're not comparing things that are radically different, but
Yeah.
I'm not as excited by being like, oh man, it's Toad, oh man, it's Peach.
Sure.
And like this again, this is not a massive leap, but like Rosalina is more interesting.
Sure.
Than, like, Toad. And Bowser Jr. is maybe not more interesting than Bowser, but he's a little bit more dynamic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the characters that they're working with in this movie, I think, expand the roster of characters we have to work with in a way that I found a little bit more compelling.
Mm-hmm.
But it also is one of those movies where an ensemble cast, which this movie has, means that I wouldn't know which character I feel gets enough screen time in the Super Mario Galaxy.
Well, Tucker, here's the fucking thing. Let's just break down all the walls of pretense about this thing. What does any character do in the Super Mario Galaxy movie? What do any of them do? What choices do they make? How do they grow? How do they
they're
change?
Trying to go save someone.
Sure. Yes, I agree.
All of them are trying to go save Rosalind.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, is there anything?
Well,
Is there anything unique to any of the characters, I should say?
I would say 3 characters have something unique to them.
Okay, hey, not a bad average for a cast of what, 8 or something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how unique you're talking, because I would say 3 of them do, and I'm not saying this is like they don't land this necessarily. But
Sure.
Bowser, Mario, and Peach all have
Something.
unique motivations, and Bowser Jr. as well. But Peach's, I think, lands the best. Learning about her past and discovering her, rediscovering her family,
Which is, by the way, quick timeout. New for this movie, right?
That's never been
I turned to Sam and Joe, who I ended up watching this with, and I was like, Peach is not Rosalina's sister, right?
No,
and like,
yeah,
oh,
that's
okay,
for real.
like,
I mean,
in the lore broadly, she
previously,
is not.
it's a retcon, but I'm like, okay, that's like
Yeah, fine. I don't really care ultimately. I mean, it's ultimately for it's tapping into like the Frozen thing. It's just like, what if these 2 princesses were sisters? You know, kids like that, and god damn it, they're right. Kids do love that shit, man.
Yeah. So that is for Peach, and I'll talk a little bit more about that because I think that's maybe the strongest like narrative element in the movie. Mario has his affinity for Peach, which they're more playing into in this film, where he's wants to ask her out, and then Luigi's like hyping him up, but he's a little bit self-confident about it.
I got a time out there too. Is that not also just in the first movie? Like, I remember all these conversations that were happening. I was like, I could have sworn we already did this shit in the first movie, man.
No, they're not around each other enough for that to really happen in the first movie.
Oh, sure.
I think,
Okay.
Tanner, it's just implied because Mario and Peach have been characters for 40 years, and you
Yeah.
associate Mario with wanting a kiss from Peach. That's
Fair
like a
enough.
thing.
But the nudging and the joking from Luigi, even I was like, are we sure? And Mario being like, oh no, I'm just trying to be your friend or whatever. You know, I don't even
Yeah.
think about nothing like that. No hows, no ways.
Well, because, Tanner, they're not gonna make Mario and Peach like get married or like date. Actually,
How dare you
probably.
say that, Tucker? How
They
dare you say
probably
that?
won't. It's one of those, like, you know, Ash has got to stay 10 years old forever. Maggie's got to be a baby forever. Like, this is like a thing. And I'm not saying
This is the
I
eternal
prefer,
story. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't prefer that necessarily. I actually think that's a weak element of all of those narratives. But that's one of the things where I'm like, I don't expect there to be progress on this. It's just like the thing that these characters do.
Fair enough.
And then the one that has the most potential, but is the most underserved narratively and character-wise of this movie, is that Bowser's being reformed. He is connecting to these people that he at one point had great animosity for. And then he just drops that because...
Well, yes. And Tucker, to the point that you were just making about Mario and Peach, this movie is also has no real interest in subverting any real status quo about the Mario dynamics that are happening.
It establishes things. But other than Peach and Rosalina, it doesn't follow any of those through. If this movie had, by the end, had Mario and Peach a lot more close, like on, which I think they kind of are, but not, like, there's not we don't see a scene where they, like, truly connect, because the movie just kind of fucking ends. Like, I actually really think that the like screeching to a haltness of this movie.
Oh no,
is,
yeah, I was like, how does it end? You know, they defeat Bowser and Bowser Jr., and then they go back to the Mushroom Kingdom and they rebuild the castle, and that's the end of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. But for Bowser, again, this is something where I'm like, oh, they are trying something here, but they don't pull it through. Which is, again, he's being reformed. He's like trying to convince them that he's connected to them, that he's not going to be a bad guy anymore. But then there's Bowser Jr., who wants to prove to his father that they can rule the galaxy together. He has these daddy issues, self-confidence issues, all this kind of stuff. And then when Bowser sees that, there's like this really quick, like, will he, won't he, like, not, like, try to stop Bowser Jr. from being so blatantly evil and, like, blow up the galaxy or whatever. And then he just, like, gives up on that because it's fun to be
to
with
me
his son.
that conflict is ultimately is just a impetus for there to be an extra 10 minutes of movie where they make Mario and Luigi babies or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
You know, all this stuff that you're bringing up to me, I was like, well, all of this just comes out in the wash of this needing to be a largely conflict-less movie that just gets us to a logical endpoint of Mario and Luigi fight Bowser.
Correct. Yeah, and Bowser Jr., which they do. So I think, talking about these narrative points, I think that the Peach stuff works pretty solidly. I think the Bowser stuff is interesting, but then is totally undercut in terms of its progression. And then the Mario and Peach stuff is just like there. It's playing the hits. It's not changing anything. But where I think this movie hits its own stride, I think it's once the Luma shows up at Peach's castle and it's like, all right, we need to head out into space and rescue Rosalina.
When he said when the Luma shows up and says the word fuck, and then they go off into space.
Now here's the question.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Oh yes, I did too. I looked over at my friend. I was like,
just say fuck.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I fucking found you.
I was like, that's crazy, man.
That's crazy. I hear it every time. I think once we hit space, this movie has an adventure flow in the way that a lot of adventure movies have, where it's like they're on their way to do something and they get stopped and sidetracked and must figure out a specific situation. And in that sort of, you might even say level by level scenario that we're like pushed into here, I think that is not my favorite kind of movie, but I think it works for what this movie is going for. Is that each of these scenes I find internally coherent. They've got a problem. Let's solve it. Let's move on to the next thing with an end goal of rescuing someone, of arriving at a specific location. And so I just don't think that is an inherently valueless structure for a movie to have. And I think for an adventure game series, a level-based adventure game series, I think as an adaptation, that's pretty smart way to handle it, because what it allows for, and again, what Mario games, what Odyssey allows for, what Wonder allows for, two games that this movie draws heavily from, even obviously Galaxy as well, is going for a sense of spectacle and variety and creativity to have our characters arrive at different locations with wildly different rule sets and characters and physics and power-ups to play with, and then they play with them on the screen. And I think that's what this movie is going for. It's faithfully recreating the experience of the source material, and it is creating a high energy, kinetic, and very spectacular, variety-filled adventure film.
For me, though, that hardly happens. I mean, what are the locales that we visit? I'm trying to the one that is the greatest example of that case you just made is the casino, or what which is just there for like an extended action set piece or whatever. Yeah. But like otherwise, like the Honeybee Kingdom is there. We're there for 30 seconds. Yeah, it's very that. There's the dinosaur thing, which could be in any fucking movie. It doesn't feel unique to Mario in the slightest. And that to me is the worst example of. I think I said this already. Like we just need 10 minutes to get this up to 90, basically. It was like, I don't know, how can we kick our character to the curb one more time to delay out our ultimate battle before to hit that 90-minute mark. And I mean, am I forgetting any? Well, I must be.
Well, yeah, because there's the Toast Arena, the Sand Kingdom part at the beginning. There is.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like after the inciting incident. The
structure of this movie.
Sure, fair enough.
Because also like there's an establishing 20-30 minutes of the 90-minute runtime that also has these like.
I would argue that lends itself to the movie feeling quite like. Okay, when's the start of the movie? I feel like we have, especially like the first 30 minutes of this movie is just scene after scene of, okay, is this now the inciting incident of the movie?
Sure.
Or is this next scene gonna be the inciting incident of the movie? Like, I don't know. But and so ultimately, it's really just the opening scene is the inciting incident, and then we have a couple of scenes that are like, well, here's some new characters that we're introducing. Yoshi's got to be here now, of course. It's a Mario sequel. We gotta have Yoshi in it. It's like iconography and character math rather than story math being done.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Because you're right. Then the real exciting incident is when our core cast of characters find out what happened at the beginning of the movie. And then they're like, oh shit, well, we gotta go take care of this now.
Yeah, and then Peach decides to go with Toad on her own for no real reason. I guess, because Mario and Luigi have to look after the kingdom, which that is just there for like a montage of like, and a little video game, and a little reference for to the video games and stuff like that, and to see some other characters and to see power-ups or whatever. This is just the as I said, I've said it a billion times already. It's the motivation for the movie. Correct, that story decisions are made to show you references to things.
Yeah. Well, yes, but again, I'm not saying it's unfair to view this movie cynically, but a less cynical viewing of that is to have a sense of spectacle and variety, which is how I view it, and I don't think that is inherently valueless, because each of these sequences, I do think, bring a different vibe and bring different elements to work with. And so I actually really like that sequence of Mario and Luigi taking care of the kingdom, because it shows sort of the culture of this place and them being heroes and being respected by the Toads and stuff, and then being very caring as members of the Mushroom Kingdom, but also then overwhelmed by the pressure that is put on the leader that they're not quite ready for. They're really exhausted by this. And so I think for them, not that the movie necessarily explores this, but I do think it's sort of implied of them, like, kind of understanding better what Peach is going through with all of this sort of pressure of having to take care of ostensibly an entire kingdom's worth of fucking babies, because that's what the Toads are.
But Tucker, they have deep manly voices. Isn't that quite funny?
One of them does, yeah. Yoshi is an interesting element of this movie. I think.
Are you sure?
I really do not like Yoshi in this movie. Because
Tucker, how dare you? Sacrilege, sir.
Because he doesn't talk, which that's fine. Like, I don't expect
Tucker, he says Yoshi.
He does say Yoshi. But he also doesn't have he doesn't have a unique personality other than being like an animal, like being like a pet ostensibly.
Definitely.
But like then they try to push that a little bit by having like human traits, like he likes music.
He's like friends with Luigi or whatever.
Yeah, but it really Yoshi's my biggest. This is really stupid. Yoshi's my biggest issue with this movie because he clutters these action sequences without any personality. It's just like, all right, we just got to deal with having Yoshi here, not because he's here for any particular reason.
But again, because Yoshi has to be, again, and if I continue to wear my cynical hat, Tucker, because Yoshi has to be here, because it's Mario.
Because Tanner, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book releases in about a month and a half.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, why not? Should we talk about...
Do you have any thoughts on Yoshi? I mean, I was like...
What the fuck am I going to say? He's fucking Yoshi.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair.
He does, like, he to me, he like clutters the action and the ensemble no more than any other character does for me. Like he's like maybe a percentage less interesting than fucking Mario or Luigi is in this movie. I don't really,
But I think my problem is that there's a lot of movies, especially animated movies, where there's a fucking silly goober animal along for the ride. Okay? That's fine. I've come to expect this.
Right.
Even something like Groot and the Guardians kind of fulfills that role.
Splat from Strange World, also the number one example of this.
This is also like what? The second time we've referenced Splat in the last few weeks on our reviews.
We love to reference Splat on this show.
But a lot of those characters are like F tier in terms of like importance. They're there for the little jokes. They do a little thing, but they don't really take up space. But Yoshi is not only the focal point of a scene at the beginning, but he's physically the same size, if not larger, than the other characters, and so it's just really weird to have this.
So Tucker, your issue is that Yoshi needs to be smaller, physically smaller.
Yoshi. I don't know.
Needs to be baby Yoshi.
But, I was just really underwhelmed by Yoshi's inclusion. I feel like either make him more of a character or make him really a dog, so that I don't expect much out of him.
Oh, he needs to be a dog.
But he is this weird middle ground where he is their pet. He's like basically a dog. He comes along with them because he just is like, I don't know, he just wants a friend or something. But he also serves no. There's no scene where Yoshi almost dies and the character's like, no, Yoshi, our mascot, our best friend.
Yeah.
The characters don't have a bond with Yoshi. He's just kind of there.
That's because in the grand scheme of things, most characters in this movie serve the exact same purpose, which is to just be like pieces that you're moving around on a little Mario Party board. It's like, oh no, they're all in this world and they have to do it. Like if you swapped Toad and Yoshi's role in this movie, how does that change anything?
Sure.
Like it doesn't. Yoshi could have gotten his fucking sunglasses stolen by Uki Muki or whatever the monkey's name is. What's his name? What's the monkey's name?
Ukiki. It doesn't matter.
Ukiki.
Yeah,
but it could have been anything. This movie literally could have been anything, and it would have been the exact same movie, and would have made the exact same amount of money, which is what ultimately this thing is for at the end of the day. Would have sold the exact same number of Yoshi video games. What's the game that's coming out in a month?
Tanner, it's called Yoshi and the Mysterious Book.
Thank you.
Which sounds like a fake video game title.
Yeah, in the Mysterious Book.
That's the name of the game.
Nintendo, get the fuck out of here with
Tanner,
that shit, man.
Would you be surprised if I told you there is a character who is a book with a face and a mustache, and his name is Mr. E?
Oh, no, hang on a second. Mr. E.
He's a mysterious book.
I can't wait for Captain Toad and the mysterious mystery thing, or whatever. We're just going to keep boiling it down further and further. Should we do a quick aside? Should we do a rattle off of the video, the various references that exist that I caught?
I want you to handle this, and I will.
Okay.
I want you to drive the conversation. I will let you know my thoughts on it.
The one that I felt was, I guess, the most unexpected for me, the one that was like, oh, they're referencing this, and I'm on this wavelength, is Mario Maker in the third act.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was like, oh, is it? Well, because because Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. Says, prepare to meet your. Hang on, look at the camera.
Wait for it.
Maker, and I was Oh, Mario Maker.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah,
I've heard of that.
Funhouse has played that. Yeah,
I have seen Funhouse do many a drunk gameplay of Mario
Yeah, yeah.
Maker. Yeah, which is, I'll take off my cynical cap here a second. Fairly fun sequence, I guess, of like going between like the 8-bit style and then Mario and Peach like running through the thing. Actually, I was like, yeah, this is fine, I suppose.
Yeah. I will say that for me, the 8-bit stuff, I'm like not super sold on. I do think this movie, and Tanner, this is again a very stupid thing for me to say.
Oh, do I put the cynical cap on you?
Maybe, but
Okay.
It's more that like the usage of things directly from the games.
Yeah, like sound
like
cues and like the
Tanner, when they
art
throw
style.
fireballs,
Yeah.
and it plays like an 8-bit sound effect. I'm like,
Badink.
get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I find that really, really cheesy.
Fair.
And also the 8-bit stuff in the Mario Maker second, I'm like, it's kind of annoying. But the idea of using a Kaizo Mario, impossible ass Mario Maker level as a set piece in a film, I'm like, I did not expect that to be completely. I was like, that's a really creative use of something that is a reference, but what it is like it's like a meta reference, because Nintendo doesn't make levels like that. Fans make those kind of really difficult levels with all the fire bars. Super specific and all the buzzsaws and stuff, and it's something that is a part of Mario culture, but from the fan side, and incorporating that into like an official Mario thing, I think is actually a pretty cool spin on what could have otherwise just been like a castle level. It's like, it's not only just Mario Maker, okay, that's a reference thing, but it's a reference to this thing that it's cool because it's a creative set piece, but also because it's included for this specific reason. I actually really like that part.
Let's see. What else? Well, fuck it. We should just talk about Star Fox.
Yeah,
we should stop beating around the bush here. Glenn Powell voices Star Fox, of course, a character who was spoiled, unbelievably spoiled, unjustly, about a week and a half ago, by an official poster release. Tucker, is Star Fox one of these game series that you're like, I don't like any of those games or anything like that? Is that one of those?
Yeah, it's one of those.
So how'd you feel about Star Fox in this movie?
It's totally fine.
Nothing.
I think it's not neither here nor there, because it's like, that I think about it more on a meta level, like, it's kind of interesting that they're doing this. Like, what does it mean for Nintendo? But
they do literally do a thing of like, he got sucked into a portal from a different universe or whatever, which is, to me, and I hate my brain works like this immediately. It was like, oh, well, that's how they're gonna backdoor the Smash Bros. Movie or whatever they're gonna do. Yeah, exactly.
Don't hate your brain works like Tanner. Movies have trained your brain to think that way for the last 20 years.
Fair enough.
You are a normal human being for thinking that.
Fair enough. But no, I mean, like, I will say that, like, it was kind of interesting to see a different animation style in that sort of, like, Star Fox backstory. Really well.
That anime stuff looked excellent.
Yeah, it looked pretty neat. Glenn Powell as Star Fox, passable, I suppose.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for, like, a little bit more, either like, snark or, like, vocal edge to him, but instead he's just kind of, like, he's just kind of a guy. Like, the voice performance didn't really inspire much in me in terms of, like, personality.
It's Glenn Powell doing a press junket is the voice performance that he's doing. But no, it's what was the thing I was going to say?
Is totally fine in terms of, like,
it's totally fine. I don't like, this is how much I want to say I liked or didn't like anything about this movie. It operates on a very similar, very, very samey wavelength across the entire thing. I just found it a little bit cloying of this movie to be like, whoa, this guy's really cool.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree.
Whoa, look how cool this guy is. Whoa, he's so cool. How about, hey, I got an idea. Hey, Nintendo, I want to pull you aside here a second. How about show him do something cool?
Just make him cool. Yeah.
Just make him cool. Instead of having 6 different characters say, whoa, he's cool. And then Star Fox also gives the... This is such the dumbest shit in the entire movie. I fucking hate this stupid fucking shit, man. When he looks over at Mario, he's like, I like this guy. Why? Why do you like him? What about him makes you like him, Star Fox?
That made no sense. Because, like, they had, like, there's, like, moment of like, tension between, like, male
No unsanctioned character conflict in this Mario movie. Nuh-uh. Only Mario and Bowser can dislike each other, and that's it!
Yeah. No, I agree. That was annoying. Yeah, his inclusion is totally fine. It's just slightly interesting. Like that's my
Yeah,
take.
it's
Like, oh, it's just slightly interesting.
from like a
But,
brand deal, a
yeah,
brand management thing.
yeah. Um, other references you wanted to talk about, Tanner, or
Um,
ask me to explain? I guess.
let's see. There's who's Wart, right? Luis Guzman voices
Yeah,
Wart. He was like a
he does.
mob boss in a casino in this movie. I was like, well, I know that character. I also thought initially from like the view of the from like the how they introduce him from the back. I was like, is that fucking King K. Rool?
That would have been really wild. Yeah.
But no, it's his name's Wart. What's
It
his
is Wart.
deal?
He's the nondescript bad guy from the end of Super Mario Brothers 2 on the NES, Tanner. And,
Okay.
And that's like kind of interesting given the scene because Birdo is a mini boss in Mario 2 and Mauser the gray mouse guy is also a mini boss in Mario 2.
Oh,
and
I see.
And the
So
ninja guys jumping around are also enemies from Mario 2. And so
I
they've
see.
kind of got this Mario 2 thing going on in the casino. But
Sure.
But also, like, there's not a casino in Mario 2, so...
Bowser Jr. Why does he have a paintbrush weapon? This is me become a Mario Q&A.
The paintbrush weapon is a big thing from Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay.
And it is one of his, like...
I recognized a couple of the guys with like the big noses and the grass skirts. They were walking around in a lot of these scenes.
Piantas, also from
Mario Sunshine. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's from Sunshine. You know, if I could say another kind thing about this movie, I thought that the paint creations that he makes, you know, in a lot of his fight scenes are pretty interesting, pretty cool to look at, I suppose. You know, it's a lot. It just turns into a lot of like battle axes and morning stars. But I mean, speaking of references, Tucker, he fucking makes Mr. Game & Watch.
Luigi does, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Luigi makes Mr. Game & Watch when he steals the paintbrush.
Because Luigi makes Mr. Game & Watch, and Bowser Jr. makes the dragon boss from the Ruined Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey that you have to
I was going to ask if the dragon was from something.
The game that you played.
Yeah, I don't remember
that. You beat that boss.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
sure I did.
Nondescript.
Yeah, I was like, it's a fucking dragon. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah. No, it's specifically that dragon.
Sure.
Yeah, and he does make Game & Watch, and Rob is in the movie, and I'm like, oh.
Oh, Rob's in the movie. Yeah, that's a good point. The Pikmin are in the movie.
Yeah, for a little second there, this little Pikmin thing. Yeah. Yeah, none of those Easter eggs did much for me. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like this is a thing that now I know happened, but like it's I think I've realized this over the course of the last few years.
Yeah.
I don't care about Mario. I don't care about the characters. The characters are nothing to me. The games are fun because the gameplay is fun. I like the level design. I think it's like creative movement and I like some of the enemy design and things. But none of the characters mean anything to me. I'm not a big Yoshi guy. I don't love the design of Mario. I think they're just fucking, like they're just there. They're just colorful shapes.
And on a certain level, these are like things that we culturally take for granted now.
Yeah. Oh no, that is also definitely true.
Yeah.
So but there are like, you know, musical cues or action moments that I do think are like excite me a little bit more, and this movie had a lot more of them than the original Mario movie. And I think that's why I come out of it being just being warmer, because I was actually like, there's a lot more for them to work with in this rather than just being like, oh, it's basic ass Mario World. And so they were able to just try a lot of different things in this movie, and that kind of kept me on my toes, and I found it a little more engaging.
Yeah, and you know, we joke about the cynical cap a number of times in this review so far, but like for me, I like, unless there is going to be like a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog 3 where for some reason the clouds just part and I'm like, hang on a second, this movie's good, like actually kind of good, actually pretty good. Which was a odd experience for me watching that movie, I shall say. I've yet to have that feeling watching the Super Mario films. And so for me, it's come across, I'm sure, in everything that I said about this movie. It's just dull, bland brand management movies for 90 minutes.
Tanner, it's bland management.
It's bland management, thank you. And you know, there is an effort on the part of the filmmakers to make it feel cinematic. They sure do love showing you like a slow motion shot of Mario like flipping over an explosion or something like that. Or it's like, no matter how many times you do this, I'm not gonna get anything out of this. There's just nothing for me to glean from watching this happen.
No, I can see that, and I think I I agree. Even though I think I find this movie to have its own sense of style and pacing and creativity and quality of. Neither of us have insulted the animation. Neither of us would insult the
No,
animation.
it's
really fucking good.
It's
Like,
super functional. Obviously, the animators and the detail that is on
Yeah.
everything, every texture and everything like that. I was like, that is objectively impressive from an animation standpoint. But we've also been spoiled that like any major studio animated project is going to look like that now. Any Pixar, any Walt Disney animation, except for fucking like Wish or whatever the fuck, when they try to stylize things and it doesn't work. Anything. No, I shouldn't say anything because there is now like things where they try to stylize a bit differently now. 75% of major studio animated titles are just going to have that level of detail now.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't have much more to say. I think that this movie is good in what it goes for. I'm not like over the moon about what it goes for.
Right.
But I think that it has its own goal and achieves it pretty well. And so that's my review. That's Mario Galaxy. It's like,
sure.
It's I think it's difficult for film watchers, for film critics, to get on this movie's wavelength. I totally understand that. I'm not even fully on this movie's wavelength, but it has a different wavelength that I think has value in creative action, very well executed action spectacle, a lot of variety, a lot of colorful effects and things. I'm like that to me does have some value, even if I don't love it. And I do think this movie exceeded my expectations in that area by allowing itself to incorporate all sorts of elements from all across the Mario games and other Nintendo games and things like that. That made it at least a somewhat surprising and engaging theatrical experience for me. I will say one other little complaint I had is when I had for the last movie is I don't like what they do with the music in this movie.
Oh, we don't Brian Tyler. Yeah.
Not that like the compositions are necessarily bad. They're mostly Mario cues.
Yes.
But that's my problem is the sequences. There's so much happening.
Right.
And then there's a bunch of different things from different games happening, and they try to like auditorially represent the what's happening on the screen with cues from the games. And what it means is that we often end up getting like 3/4 of the way through an iconic Mario cue, and then we gotta pivot to something else. And I'm like, the songs are good. Just let the fucking songs play.
Yeah. So you mentioned the over-reliance of needle drops in that first film and how they don't do that as much here, which is true. But they do a weird thing in this movie where there's not needle drops for like 80% of the movie, but the first 20% they do too. I forget what the second one I caught was, but the first one is like a Notorious B.I.G. needle drop because because it's fucking Notorious B.I.G. They can't use any of the lyrics. And so it's just like the opening hook of that song. It's when Yoshi is like walking through New York City or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird because like the song never starts. It's just 90 seconds of the opening hook of that song, and I was like, this is so weird. Why'd you choose this?
I guess the scene's just so short that they just don't have the time to like have it.
But no, like as someone who's heard that song, I was like, the song should have started like 5 times now. Like you're just playing the open. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. It's fucking colors and noise and music. You would have gotten the same thing if you gave $200 million to a fucking Cocomelon episode. It's meant to like glaze over the eyes of your 8-year-old for 90 minutes. That's what this thing is for. And I'll even say the kids that were in the theater with me, they were like getting up and they were like walking in and out of the theater. They didn't even goddamn give a shit what was happening in this movie. They're like, it's gonna be the same shit on screen when I come back in 5 minutes.
Yes, but though the other thing is, if you wait 5 seconds, it's gonna be something totally different.
Well, yeah, exactly. Right? But if it's always something totally different, then it's just always just a mirage of colors.
If every frame is super, then none of us are.
Exactly. If every Mario brother is super, then none of us are. All right, Tucker. Last thing before scores: who's gonna voice Daisy next time?
I don't really give a shit.
Not even guess. Just Tucker, say any A-list actress in Hollywood, any of them.
Jennifer Lopez.
J-Lo, whoa! That's a curveball, I suppose.
That's the one that would that would play well on like a poster and like a red carpet. And also, she probably would take $20 million, whatever the fuck they would hand it out.
No, I forget if it was Sam or Joe who said this last night, but I think they nailed it when they said Haley Steinfeld.
I don't know, man. Maybe.
It's fucking Anya Taylor-Joy and Brie Larson. Like those are those are who we're hiring.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. I'll say 6 out of 10.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching this quite beleaguered episode of Backlash Banter.
Still came in like 20 minutes shorter than our review of the first film.
Well, it's 20 minutes per person, Tanner.
True, that's a good point. We've discovered this. Yes.
Tanner, let's be really fucking real. This would have been an hour review if it was.
Oh yeah, it would have been an hour review.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.